This is cool.
Are we live? Absolutely. We're live. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm finishing chewing my banana. This is Frank. Most of you probably know me. We're at SOAR School of Addiction Recovery doing our podcast. We go live every Saturday at 11, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and then they'll be posted on Monday, is it? On the rest of the platforms, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I want to thank LT for helping put this all together. As you guys know, LT is the name, the face, the fearless leader behind Recovering Addicts. Awesome. What do you say? It's recovery in your pocket, online platform and presence. Yeah, say hi to Polly.
What's up, Polly Pinch? Hey, Mo and Lori. Polly's my homie from Joyzy.
Oh, what's up, Joyzy Polly? And finally we got Blake here. I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us.
Yeah, man. No problem. Thanks for having me. This is cool. It's good to be here.
For sure. It's kind of a trip. Blake's sister was the one that actually hit me up and said, "Oh, you should get my brother on this podcast." I was like, "Okay, for sure." We're kind of family-ish. So Blake's sister is my daughter's mom's sister-in-law. So your nephew and niece are like my nephew and niece. Yeah,
exactly.
But this is the first.
We're the uncles.
Yeah, we're the uncles.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are funny kids, man. I just went over and saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
sure.
kids. Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how Alex was saying she's I don't know, just grateful to be able to be his mom, and he's everything you'd want to embody in a person. He's kind and he's funny and caring and even at 3 years old, he's always just I don't know, it's awesome. You can tell he carries that light about him.
They come equipped, bro. They come equipped with personality.
Oh yeah.
You'll learn. Yeah, you'll see. It's man, that's crazy. It kind of looks like me, kind of acts like me, which is a little scary.
Right.
You hope they get the good traits and not the bad ones.
Exactly. I know. I'm thinking about that. I'm already future tripping 10 years down the line because my daughter's going to be born any day now.
Yeah, she's on the way.
How do I handle these things once she gets to this age and then teenager? What do I do about smoking weed and drinking and blah blah blah? Trying to protect her from going down this path that I went through, and it's there's not much you do about that just besides being a good parent from day one, and showing them the right things. But
yeah, you don't know until you have them, and it's this crazy thing, and then they're born and it changes you, something changes.
Yeah.
It sounds weird to say, you know what I mean? People say that all the time. You're like, that just sounds weird to say, but when it happens, man, something changes in you, and now you got this life you got to take care of, and the world seems a little more scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I get that, but I don't fully get it yet, right? Because you were saying, everyone I talk to, I was talking to this dude in here the other day that's I'm sure everyone says this to you, but you think and you think what it's going to be like, or you think what love is, and then all of a sudden you're holding them and just your world completely changes. You
know? It's weird, man. It's a trip for sure.
It is a trip. Yeah. So you're a father too. How many kids do you have?
I just have one.
Yeah, your daughter?
Yeah, just the one little girl. Yeah.
Nice. How old is she?
She's 3.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart too. I just picked her up. I'm grateful for that, man.
Yeah.
Super grateful for that, because she's a big reason why I'm sober. You know what I mean? We can get into that, but
yeah, I was going to say that if having her was a motivation for you to get sober, or even today, if it's a motivation to continue staying sober.
Yeah. Every day. Well, and it just changed me. Like I said, it changed me, and it could have changed me for the bad, or it could have changed me for the good. And luckily, when she came along, I was struggling.
Yeah.
And I had to separate myself from her, and that's what changed me. And that's what changed me for the good. You know what I mean? I realized a lot in that.
That's cool though. Cause obviously that can happen for a lot of people. But when I was in active addiction, I knew so many parents that having their kids wasn't enough for them. Right. They always get taken from DCFS, and the parents couldn't get sober. And it's just sad that so many people and families have to continue going through that.
It is sad, and when I was at the Red Barn, it's a place to where they're not gonna bullshit you. You know what I mean? They're not gonna cater to you and are you feeling okay today? They're gonna break it to you hard, which I needed. You know what I mean? So anyway, I went through the Red Barn Academy. Getting sober after I had her.
That's cool. And, why don't you explain a little bit what
we can
Red
go
Barn
into
was
that.
or how you got in there? I'm sure some of our listeners know, we actually had Mike Haas, who's like started Red Barn on our podcast, like I think 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the podcast episode is called like Johnny Farmer from Blue Pill to something. But yeah, you guys can go back and check it out. It's a good one. Mike is an awesome dude, but yeah, explain what that's like. What is Red Barn and how'd you get in there? And
yeah, for sure. So Red Barn had been really new, and it's still pretty new as far as, you know, recoveries and that goes, and therapeutic communities is what they call it. So my mom, so I was struggling, man, and I don't really go super deep into my past just because, you know, I've tried to turn a leaf, you know what I mean, and just leave the past, and I don't want to glorify it, man, just because I know that that's a character defect, because like you'll start talking, then I'll start talking, right? And I'll try and one up you. You know what I mean? And I'll try and be like, no, you did this, well, I did this. And then I'll get into that. And that's just the past of me that I want to let go of that, man. I don't want to be that
doing
guy.
That at times, like, you know, even today, and I don't like realize I'm doing it, but people will tell stories, and then I'll tell a story, then they'll tell a story, and then all of a sudden, before I know it, I'm like, wait, this is like sounding like fun again, or memorable and nostalgic, and it's like there's a reason I stopped doing all that, you know.
I you know, just to break it down, I did heroin, meth, crack, whatever, you know what I mean. I drank, and so growing up, I grew up with a good family, man. I had such a good time when I was a kid, almost maybe too much fun, you know what I mean. It was just fun, and I went to school, grew up in Ogden, went to Ogden High, got a good education, then went to Dixie State. I had a football scholarship down there.
Oh, nice.
So I went and I was a field goal kicker. So I went and kicked field goals down at Dixie State, and it was, once I got away from home, I don't know, something happened where I was just like let loose. You know what I mean? Like, oh, no more parents around. I can just party whenever, do whatever I want.
You have to have more responsibility for like your life structure. The day-to-day and like the long-term thing. It's like, oh, damn, I got freedom. I got leeway. It's like, I have a lot of rope, but if you're not careful, you can hang yourself with it.
Exactly. And I did. And I did. And you know, I wasn't going to school, but I was playing football. And, you know, the athletic directors would be like, you know, we see Blake at all the games, but we never see him in class. You know, and that sort of thing. You ever see that show, Last Chance U? It was like that, bro. That's how Dixie State was. I'm telling you, in 2004, it was just a wild time. No one went to school. We partied and we played football, and that's what it was. And I got caught up in that, man. And and then I came home, and my friends are still doing the same thing. You know, OxyContin was big, and stuff like that. And it was just, I just got caught up in it. And
do you think you're doing more of it like at college than like some of your other peers or like people on the team? I was kind of known for that. You know, I'd miss the bus sometimes for a game. And the coach would be like, well, I'm not surprised it wasn't, you know, you noseworthy, you know what I mean? One of those kind of deals. Like, I was just always messing around. And I had that like at college too, where I saw it with the football team, because I went to USC. I got a academic scholarship there before I lost it. I lost it by like failing all my classes one semester. I didn't show up to my finals, and they're like, okay, well, obviously the university didn't like that. But I remember like, you know, the football kids just like always got so much leeway because it's USC football. So like I was in this one final, like, you know, before I actually started doing bad in school, and one of the football players, I forget who it was, but he had some kid take his final for him, just this like geeky little kid. And you have to go up, walk to the professor and hand in your final when you're done the auditorium. He like goes in and hands it in. And the professor looks at the final and looks at him and just starts busting out laughing because he's a huge football fan. He's like, "This isn't you." Like, he didn't get trouble.
That person, you know what I mean? That's not good.
No,
that's not good at all. So I developed a lot of that. You know, teachers always enabled me. I got away with tons of stuff. You know what I mean?
I could see that.
Just being an athlete and stuff. And so it transferred over into my regular life to where I developed this like terminal uniqueness to where I thought I was different. You know what I mean? I thought I could do drugs. And I'd be all right. You know what I mean? Because I play football, or I, you know, do this, or I, you know, I have a good family. I could do drugs. I got a good family. You know, they'll support me pretty much no matter what, bro. Pretty much no matter what.
It's like hard consequences.
Oh, and it got deep.
And it didn't seem like it was real. You got that book here. Yeah, I know he always talks about this book, but it's called "It Will Never Happen to Me," and it's like I can just relate to that feeling, especially when I was growing up. Like, I would obviously party and do drugs, smoke weed, do like other, getting into pills, cocaine, this and that, but I never thought of myself as going down this road.
No, I don't think anybody really does.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for me, it was kind of a gradual thing. It was super gradual.
Yeah.
Like until, I was deep in it, I was like, didn't realize that's where I was going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until I was there. And then I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm in the middle of the ghetto. I don't know what I'm doing, high, drunk, whatever. But I did that for a long time, man. And so it was like 2017, 2018. So I had my daughter in 2017.
Okay.
In the summer of 2017. And I had just gotten with my ex, her mom, and we were both sober. We had gone through Weber Human Services.
Okay.
And we were just kind of getting sober on our own. And she had been through treatment. And
Did you go through the Stepping Stones program there? Okay.
No, I went through just the basic, I don't even know what you would call it, just like a relapse prevention type class.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And just the basics like that. And I was doing good. I was desperate. I didn't want to use again. You know what I mean? I was convinced, that I had it figured out.
Right.
And then I had a kid, and I just didn't know how to handle it, man. I didn't have the tools to handle being an addict early in recovery and having a kid.
Right. It's a lot to be on your plate at one time.
It is.
Because just being sober is hard enough. I mean, we talked about it last week, and in groups and stuff. Like getting sober is not for the faint of heart.
Bro, being an adult is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like being an adult is hard. It's no joke.
And then you add like, the responsibility of being a father to that. Like, yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Yep. And especially as a drug addict. Yeah. There's a lot that goes with that.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
But, yeah. So I just remember showing up one day at her mom's house and I was just pale, I was not doing good.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, you can't come over here. You can't come over here looking like that and being like that. And I just broke down, and I was like, damn, I got this baby. She's like 3 months old, 6 months old. Here's her mom just like, she's clean, she's sober, just looking at me like, what are you doing? And I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember just going home that night, just thinking, what am I doing? And I think I ended up in Salt Lake at a strip club or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, screw it. And then the blessing of like my mom getting hold of, Mike Hawes at the Red Barn. Shout out to Mike Hawes.
Exactly.
Michael
awesome
Hawes.
Too.
Yeah, Johnny Farmer. Oh, dude. So let's get into that, dude, because that's where it's at, bro. Screw all the drama.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? That's where it's at. And so I talked to Mike. My mom kind of got a hold of him. But Mike's not gonna talk to my mom. He wants to talk to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I talked to him and he's like, you ain't ready for this, dude. He's like, I see people come in and out of this place. And I'll tell you what you got to do.
Right.
You got to get, your medical stuff figured out. And if you can handle that, come in and talk to me again. And so I did that. And I was so scared. Because I had to commit. Sure. He said, you want to commit to a year? And I was like, no, not really. But I was desperate. Yeah. Right. I was so desperate. No one wants a year of living in a barn.
A lot of them are 2 years. So why don't you explain a little bit what like a TC or therapeutic community is? How is that different from like a traditional rehab?
So it's all peer run. It's peer run. There's not counselors. I mean, there's staff, I guess you could say, but I mean, it's peer run. All the enterprises are run by, students in the program. So there's a Red Barn Movers, which is huge.
Yeah.
And they have a Red Barn Construction, all these other enterprises. And so it's different in that sense. So I can kind of break it down on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
So I showed up and they give you a little bed in a little room in a barn. And
And you committed to a year.
And I committed to a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, let's do it. I was pissed.
Right.
I was actually pissed at Michael because, you know, he doubted me. And I was like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And I look up to Mike.
Oh,
if
for
you
sure.
look at Mike, he's a dude where you're like, that's the dude I want to be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
you
just
can tell by his presence. He's just got his life put together.
Yep.
He like carries this confidence. And,
yeah. And so I was pissed and I was like, man, this dude, he doesn't think I can do it. But I'm going to prove him wrong. You know what I mean? I want to be that guy. I want to be like that guy. And so I checked in. I, told everyone bye. I told my daughter, she was little. She didn't know. But anyway. And so, yeah, every day it was just a grind. You get up, you make your bed, military style, no creases, nothing like that. Get up at about 5 or 6 in the morning. But it's structured. Every day is laid out for you, what you're going to do. You shave every day. You get up, make your bed, you shave. You go downstairs and you make breakfast for the guys. No one's making you breakfast. No one's making your bed. You're doing all that.
Yeah.
And I needed that. I needed that structure and that discipline.
Yeah.
And so that's, that's a lot of the difference between that and a TC and like a regular rehab.
Yeah. I mean, especially a lot of like the higher end rehabs. It's like, you'll go and you got this like nice meals laid out for you every day with this personal chef. So you can get spa treatments and all this stuff. And it's like, that's cool. And like has its place for, executives or whoever's trying to get sober. But I always think at the end of the day, like, is that really helping you as much as like, a place like this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you learning accountability and discipline and like, kind of taking care of your shit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just the way I am, I needed that. I needed people to just be real with me, and I needed to get in trouble, and I needed to learn from that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I didn't need something to where I could just kind of bullshit you, because I'm good at bullshitting. Like I could tell you to your face, like, yeah, I'm doing good, man, and I'll tell you all the right things.
For sure.
I'll tell you all the right things, and I did that my whole life, and
you become good at it because you need to. It's like a form of survival,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And that's what it is in the streets, It is.
For sure.
But they weren't seeing that. Those guys at the Red Barn, they seen right through that. You know what I mean? And so they're gonna call you out. So yeah, even if your bed ain't made, you're gonna get called out. And so that's a lot of the therapeutic side of it is just your peers holding you accountable.
Learning how to be an adult and a contributing member of society.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing that without leaning on, your substances.
Yep. And it's stressful. It's stressful. They want it to be stressful because there were so many times where I just wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I was done.
Right.
I was done, but I knew that if I stayed, that I'd be all right.
I like how you said they like wanted it to be stressful, because that's a principle we talk about here in SOAR in our program, that like we do this thing called orchestrating stress, right? Where we do it on purpose. Like this morning, right before I came here, we all woke up at 5. We met at the top of a trailhead, 27th Street at 6:30 a.m. and it's still dark out for another like 30, 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We all start hiking in the dark, and then we hike Malin's and make it to the top. And then, the sun comes up as we're getting up there. We have a group, but it's like no one wants to wake up on a Saturday.
Nope.
And then be at the trailhead at 6:30, but that's part of the program. We're doing that on purpose. People like ask when they're asking about the program, well, why are the Saturday groups so early? Like, why can't you make it at 10? It's like that on purpose.
Should be earlier.
Exactly.
Should make it at 4.
The workouts too, like, these workouts that we go through, the circuit training, the weightlifting, all of it's hard and it's stressful. And there's times when you're battling in yourself, like, God, I don't know if I can do this. Like, God, 2 more rounds of this. I don't know. And it's like that on purpose, because we're trying to orchestrate stress in this environment to get people to get used to it. And it's like, oh, I can handle this.
It's empowering.
And then it translates to everyday life too, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That stuff, that's what makes you feel good about yourself.
Right.
That's when I knew I had that paradigm shift of like, oh man, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That aha moment of like going through something super hard, super struggle, and getting through it and being like, man, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's what recovery is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? In yourself. When you know it in yourself, to where I just overcame, a 1-year treatment center program at the Red Barn Academy. Man, there's not a lot you can throw at me.
Right.
There's not a lot you can throw at me that I can't handle.
Exactly.
So to me, that's the most empowering thing in the world. And, we have to deal with that with our egos.
Oh, for sure.
And, to me, that's integrity, of that self-worth of waking up every day, and you can look in the mirror and just feel good about yourself. So do hard things.
Right.
If you're having a bad day, go run up to Malin's. I promise you, when you get back, you ain't gonna be feeling that bad. You don't have time.
Exactly.
You don't have time to feel bad for yourself when you're sweating and you're like, oh, this sucks, and you're grinding up that mountain. And then you get to the top and you release those endorphins, and you're just, you know what I mean?
No, I love it. That's it,
why
we have this as like one of the foundations of our program, the outdoor experiences, the spiritual experiences in the gym. And we do that on purpose. So it's like the first half of most, of our nights in our program, we'll work out in the gym, and then we'll have group, because group after working out is like so much better.
Yeah.
And everyone feels great. And like, you can be walking in having the worst day ever. I mean, it happens to me all the time. I'm not excited to walk into the gym and train and like do all this, right?
Yeah.
But then I do it. I'm so glad I did. I'm happy. I'm chatty. I'm talking to people. And that's like, it makes the group so much more open, and people just get vulnerable. They just got done sweating together, accomplishing hard stuff. It's powerful for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I need. That's what I've always loved about this program, the SOAR program, and the Red Barn is super similar to that. It's not like workouts, but it's like go to work.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go move 3 people in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go in somebody's house and start throwing around couches and boxes, and not throwing them around, setting them down nicely.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's
out there like competing in the game of life, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you go home and you lay down and you feel good, man. You're like, man, I had a good day.
Yeah.
Today there were some struggles. I got through them, but overall it was a good day. And that's when I started hitting over that hump. You know what I mean? Of it wasn't this cloud 9 feeling anymore. It wasn't this, you know how they talk about the that first stage of recovery.
Yeah, pink cloud.
The pink cloud of like, oh, everything is just good. Every life is good, no matter, you know what I mean? But when you can get through the hard stuff and past that, and then still feel good,
that's where the challenge is.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where the beauty is too. And like, the day-to-day living of this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hawk talks a lot about how like, a lot of life is like shadowy and like ups and downs, and it's like competing through that, but it like makes those like sunshine moments so much more worth it. You know? But it's like life is life, and it's like even if you're in recovery or not, it's like, you still got to go to work and have responsibilities and bills to pay, and like, trouble with personal relationships and, whatever arguments or things go wrong in your head, depression, anxiety, and like a lot of life is like that. But it's like, getting through that and like having the tools and the foundation to be able to like get through that and then see the good moments is where it's at.
And honestly, life becomes a little easier.
Yeah.
Considering what we've been through.
For sure.
And my boss looks at me all the time and he's like, bro, you're a stud. And I'm like, I'm telling you, dude, it's just because I show up to work. I do what I'm asked to do every day. I'm on time. I do what I'm asked to do, and I can work circles around guys. Yeah. And it's just because of, I push myself with the Red Barn. They help me push myself. I know how to push myself. You know what I mean? And that's just living a life of recovery. Is showing up, doing what you say you're going to do. And when you get into the real world, you'll be that much more ahead of the rest of the game. You know what I mean? Of the struggle. So
you're forced to like deal with these problems and deal with yourself. And, like confront yourself in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool because most people don't like have a need to do that, right? I mean, they might here and there
get comfortable,
right?
Yeah, and that's scary, being that comfortable. And I know how I am. I'm complacent, and I can get super comfortable to where I just want to chill.
Agree.
I'm good at chilling. Yeah.
Me too. But that's why I'm excited for tomorrow. All Sunday, I'm going to eat like crap and watch football.
That's right. Yeah, because you earned it. You know what I mean? Right? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
But it's like the old me, I'd have that like then bleed into Monday and be like, oh, maybe I'll call in sick, and then like Tuesday. That's what it was like when I was going to college, right? So it's like all my friends would party like pretty much just as hard as me. I wasn't doing anything out of the norm. for my friend group at least, right? I mean, we were all looking for drugs and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
this and that.
Yeah.
But then like Monday would roll around, they'd go to class and get their stuff together, and I'm still like, I'm gonna not go to class,
Yeah.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm gonna go into the hood to find people that I can get drugs from that want to party with me on a Monday at 11, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
That's
Tuesday,
wild.
Wednesday, and then I might make it to a lecture by Thursday, and then
Yeah.
Thursday night is like the big party night on frat row, and then Friday.
Oh.
So it's like that's how it would be, and then
Yep.
now it's like I can allow myself little moments of like, hey, it's okay to like chill right now, or
Yeah,
chill today. It's okay to
exactly.
take a nap today if I don't have responsibility, right?
Yeah.
But then it's just like picking back up where you left off and then like hitting it again, right?
Yeah. And not being super hard on yourself, because, as addicts, we do that. It's like, if we're going to make mistakes, I make mistakes all the time. We all make mistakes, but it's like, how do I fix that? How do I keep that from happening again?
Right.
Instead of just like, oh, here's a mistake, here's another mistake, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, it's, all mistakes.
Yeah.
I always talk about that too. I always relate things to sports, because I grew up
yeah.
playing sports. And so it's like, if you're on that losing team, you just you get in that mindset of losing all the time. And that's what it's like being in your addiction. You're just you're losing. You can't seem to break that hump. But when you get a win, and then you get another win, and then you get I'm talking about simple stuff. I'm talking about making your bed.
Yeah.
I'm talking about brushing your teeth. I'm talking about shaving.
Mhm.
And then you get wins, and then you show up to work on time. And then that just accumulates to where it's a habit of winning.
Yeah. It's
And
easy to like talk down to yourself or like not count those things as accomplishments, but they are, right?
yeah.
And like every day
Yep.
that you're sober and like, showing up is a miracle, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yeah. I was talking to my buddy a few weeks ago, and he was talking about getting stressed out and overwhelmed by life, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, what do I got to do today? And what do I got to do? And with work and with this, and then, I still got to pay my dad back for all this stuff. And then like my girlfriend, and it's just, he's like, I just got to do the next right thing.
Yeah.
And so he like breaks it down minute to minute. Well, what's the next right thing right now? Like you said, I'll make my bed.
Yeah.
Brush my teeth. Okay, what do I got to do? Oh, I got to get breakfast.
Yeah.
I got to go to work. And you break it down like that, and you start accumulating those little wins. Like I like
Yeah.
how you said they're
Yep.
wins, because they are, right?
Mhm.
And it's like
Totally.
you focus on like the minuscule, and then like overall life will start getting better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because as addicts, we're hard on ourselves. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah.
so you gotta do some good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you put a lot of pressure like today on like looking at yourself and like your character defects and like kind of how you carry yourself in the
Yeah.
world? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
We
do.
talk about that in this program, and not like pressure in a bad way where you're always like, but basically like we talk about how this addiction and recovery has given us a need to like look at our fears and our resentments. And it's like,
Yeah.
we can't afford to be walking around pissed off at 5 different people, or like we have to make things right, or
It's a constant checking yourself and checking your ego all the
Yeah.
time.
right.
Yeah. I go throughout the day and I'm like, I'll get mad at a little road rage or a little road rage.
Yeah.
And then, I'll need to check myself. And because if not, that will transfer over, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm that way. I'm just addictive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
if my mind gets going on some bad stuff, it'll just transfer over. But yeah, I always check myself. I always have to.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm just hard. I think I'm just hard on myself. What do you think that's just from being an addict?
I think
Or
it's like it is, because Dustin, who's normally on here with us, the founder of SOAR, he talks about that a lot, where he's hard on himself for a lot of things. Where it's
Yeah.
like he's like, I'm always having to like apologize to my wife or my kids, or like I'll go to my son's game and I'll like yell or something, and then I'm like, oh God, why am I like that? I got to make that right, or
yeah.
little things like that. But I think a lot of it is like he sees it now more than he used to, and he's like holding himself to such a high standard that it's not like he's like a bad person. He's like making so much progress that any little thing
Yeah.
that goes wrong like in his life, or like any little like flaw he has, he'll like notice it and magnify it, and then be like, oh God, I got to work on that. I got to do better next time. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a double-edged sword, where it's like he is a lot better than he used to be, but it's like
Right.
because he's made all this progress and is hyper aware of like how he acts and checking his ego and his pride and all that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
he's aware of like, when he goes off the path a little bit.
And that's just crazy to think, because those guys, those are recovery all stars in my mind.
Yeah,
Dustin, Michael Haas,
for sure.
those dudes, you know, just the way they give back, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I know they say it's like a selfish thing, to give back because it makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's another one of those things to that service side of getting out of yourself and doing things for others
Oh yeah.
that, if you want something, give it away.
Yeah.
And somebody told me that once, and I was like, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense
Yeah.
until I started doing service work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until I started getting involved with doing things for other people. And I just felt so good about myself. This one guy came into the Red Barn one time, and he was telling us about this story of this. He would drive by this lemonade stand with this little girl or something.
Yeah.
And he would give her all this change he had.
Yeah.
And this makes me emotional, bro. Like when I think about this makes me super emotional.
Yeah.
But he'd give him all the change he had in his car. He'd give it to her.
Yeah.
And then the next day he would do the same thing. And he was just talking about how good it made him feel.
Right.
And then he would start saving up, and then giving her that money, right? And then it accumulated to this thing to where he ended up adopting her.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just this crazy story of just doing the next right thing and just how good that made him feel and just that service. You know what I mean? And then he ended up adopting her, and like now they have, you know what I mean? Now he's her dad.
That's
and
so
like
cool.
so cool, right?
Yeah.
Just by helping somebody out.
Right.
It feels so good.
No, absolutely.
No better feeling than doing some service. And that's really what the Red Barn is just giving back to the community, the Red Barn community. Because I don't go home with any money. Right. None of those guys go home with any money, and they're grinding.
Yeah.
And they work hard.
Yeah.
And they don't go home with any money. And they work from sun up to sundown, and it all goes back to the Red Barn. Some guys end up staying. A lot of guys end up staying at the Red Barn because it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so good.
Well, it's just a trade-off. You get, your housing, and you get like all this stuff, but it's like you working for it too.
Yeah.
But like, that's like, it's kind of funny. It's like people are like, I'm doing this program, and like, I have to give away my labor and time for free, but it's like, that's like what the program is offering you. And it's actually a gift if you look at it like that, right?
Oh, it's
offering you this like accountability and direction and like ability to be of service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, I still, it's nice when you're there and at a place like that because they kind of offer that service, right?
Yeah.
But when you're on your own, you gotta go out and look for that, because that's, to me, that's what recovery is. And that's why I'm not a big book thumper. I'm not a big AA guy because I didn't get sober through AA. Right. I got sober through, the Red Barn Academy and just doing the next, that therapy side of my brothers calling me out. And
if you look at it, it's like the same underlying principles. They're just doing it in their way, right? But it's like they're talking about rigorous honesty. They're talking about the accountability and the service and helping other people and all that. And like, the new guy that comes into Red Barn, you're like kind of lifting him up and showing him the ropes. And
right? Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that, they say, nobody's more important than the new guy. You know what I mean? Because he's the guy that's most vulnerable. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to go out of your way and to help him succeed, that feels good too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I love, the brotherhood that I've gained from that place. And, I still talk to them. I still go to the Red Barn all the time. I'll go boating with them, and they do fun things. When I was there, we there wasn't that many of us, so we didn't get to do a whole lot of fun things.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Sure. Yeah, it's just different now. It's cool the way it's grown, and
I'm a huge supporter of programs like that because it just helps change people's lives.
Yeah.
I love Red Barn. I love Valley Camp. People going
right.
There.
Those nonprofit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have money to get sober, and it's expensive.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that these places offer this service of all you got to do is give up 2 years of your life, which sounds like a long time, but I promise you, when you get there, it's just like you're happy. It's just another day. You know what I mean? And you have to sacrifice a lot, but those those people, when you're done, you know, I don't know how to explain it. They just accept you more. You know what I mean? From like, they see what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you think, oh, I'm away from all these people and it sucks. And like, but when you're done, like the amount of respect that I get from my dad or my mom or, you know, my kid's mom or my, you know, everybody that's like, you know, sees the sacrifices that you make and that's neat too. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
gonna like spend 2 years of your life somewhere and not be like ingrained in that and like make friendships and have a brotherhood and like,
Yeah.
have it change your life in some way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like, you know, a negative thing. It's just a trade-off, right? So it's like you spend 2 years of your life, but what do you get if you get your life back, right?
Yeah, you get your life back. And today I'm so grateful for that. You know, I get to go pick up my daughter
Yeah.
and we get to go to Lagoon and we get to go do all this stuff. And it's like, without recovery, I wouldn't have that. You know what I mean? I would just be doing the same thing over and over. You know what I mean? Expecting different results.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to just suck it up, man, and go through what I had to go through to live this life today. And it's still a struggle, you know, every day is a struggle, but I embrace the struggle now. I kind of like the struggle now.
How do you handle things like struggles today? Like either like, you know, if you get a craving or something or an idea pops in your head or oh, maybe that, you know, looks good or
Yeah.
you remember a good time or something. Like how do you walk through that stuff today?
I play the tape through.
Yeah.
Big one. You know what I mean? And I think about what it took to get sober, and I take it back to that positive, and I think about all the good thing I have, and you know where I've come from, and I just play that tape through of like, you know, it sounds fun, but you know damn well where that road takes you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I thought stop it, but I also just try and address it. You know what I mean? And try and figure out how I can not necessarily fix it. You can't really fix it, but you know, just ways to get your mind off of it. You know, I'll go to the gym. Exercise is a big one for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll go for a hike, and or I'll call somebody.
Those are all like important tools.
Yeah.
Something you said reminded me of the Just for Today that Chris was reading, and I'm trying to find it. Okay, yeah. We read this today at the top of Malin's.
Oh.
And it's just like what you were talking about when, I don't know, I'll just read it. It says, before we got clean, most of our actions were guided by impulse. Today, we are not locked into this type of thinking. So it's not just impulsive, right? You're like playing the tape through and actually having awareness around things. But it says, ever been tempted to do something even when you knew the results would be disastrous? Ever thought about how much it was going to hurt to do what you were tempted to do, and then you proceeded to do it anyways? It is said that there are consequences to every action. Before we got clean, many of us simply didn't believe this, but now we know exactly what it means. When we act, we know there will be consequences to pay. No longer can we decide to do something in ignorance when we know full well that we won't like the price we'll have to pay. There's always a prize and a price. It's okay to act despite the consequences if we're willing to pay the price, but there's always one to pay. Just for today, I will think about the consequences of my actions before I take them. I just thought that was like cool. That's what, because we just read that this morning when you were talking about like, you know, just something simple like playing the tape through. It's like, you know, that like for every, you know, action, there's a reaction and there's going to be a price or a prize. And it's like, you know, are you willing to pay that? Are you willing to follow that road to the end? Right.
Yeah. And that's crazy. I really didn't learn that until I got sober.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like accountable for any of my actions. You know what I mean? I would just accumulate this crazy amount of debt, or I would just like screw people. And I never had these consequences. And I was so impulsive, and I didn't even realize I was being impulsive. And I remember one time at the Red Barn, I'm super impulsive, dude. Like that's my biggest character defect is like, I want it. And I don't even think about it. It sucks.
Yeah.
But I know I've learned the consequences suck even worse. But there was this time to where, you know, I was pretty high up in in the Red Barn as far as like they call them tribes.
Right.
So I was a tribe leader,
Okay.
and there was other guys that looked up to me, right?
Yeah.
And if we were out on a job site, I was held at a high standard, as we all were, but around the guys, I was held at a little bit of a higher standard. And I had developed this relationship with the customer,
Mhm.
and we would do his landscaping and stuff. And he was well off, and he had a Mercedes, one of them. What's the SUV one? It's the what's it called?
There's the MLK or MKL or GLK.
What is it?
There's
Anyway,
the G wagons, but then there's
it's not a
Yeah,
G-Wagon.
there's the other ones too. I
Yeah,
know what you're
super
talking
nice,
about.
super
Yeah.
nice. And he's like, we take my car and drop some stuff off up the street. And I knew that it was against the rules,
Yeah.
jump in someone's car and take it. I wasn't committing. I mean, maybe the crime was I didn't have my license on me,
Right.
but I wasn't committing any crimes, and I wasn't hurting anybody, and I wasn't harming anybody. So in my mind, I justified it so quick
Yeah.
to like, oh, I'm just running up the street.
And you're
And
doing
that's a
something to help
nice
the
car.
customer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm helping the customer.
Yeah.
And I got back, and they ripped my ass apart, man.
Yeah.
They pulled me up right there on the spot. It made me feel like like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I had to sit in that. And then when you're in that sort of environment, that's everything.
Yeah.
Those type of encounters are everything. The people you're around, that's everything. So it sounds so minuscule, but at the same time, it's so powerful to have your brothers, you know what I mean? Look
Oh,
at you
yeah.
like, dude, like you can't do that. You can't take. And so I got back to the barn, and they give contracts out for certain, um, for certain things like that,
Right.
for breaking rules. And as long as it wasn't a lot of times it's nothing major. Maybe you don't make your bed, but
Mhm.
there's natural consequences to your actions no matter
Right.
what you do. You don't want to make your bed, that's fine. You don't have to make your bed. But I promise you, after you do a 30-day contract of pulling rocks out of a field, rock by rock,
Right.
you know what I mean? You're not going to do it again. You're just not going to do it again.
Exactly.
And you go, and you don't have headphones to put on. You don't have anybody to talk to. They separate you from everybody. You put on a yellow shirt, a bright, like, construction type shirt,
Yeah.
you go out into a field by yourself. No one can talk to you for the whole time you're on a contract. I was like on a week contract where no one could talk to me.
Yeah. Because of the car incident.
Because of the car incident.
Right.
And just because I was so impulsive.
Yeah.
And I had to like take rocks out of this field and build this little rock wall. And I was out there like, 10 hours a day by myself. And I just had these moments to where I was like, I was stuck in my head. It was just me and my thoughts.
Right.
You know what I mean? And why did you do that? Was it worth it? But it was hard because I was so impulsive.
Yeah.
And it took a long time. I mean, I still have impulsive thoughts, but they're not as bad as they were. You know what I mean? Because I remember things like that. I remember natural consequences for your actions. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And luckily, when I act out, it's not doing drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I act out, there's still consequences for acting out.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's okay though, because it's we were talking with LT the other day about how you're not always responsible for the first thought that comes in your head, right?
the
But
second,
you can be for the second, and then obviously for the action that you take after that.
yeah,
And so it's like I get impulsive thoughts all the time, and sometimes I do like act on them, right? Even just
Yeah.
little things where it's like I know I have to go to bed early, but it's I'll watch one more episode of the show, right? Just
Yeah.
like dumb things like that to bigger life decisions where I'm like, oh, I got to make amends to someone because I messed something up or whatever, right?
right.
But
And then when you got to get up at 6 a.m., you're like, I shouldn't have stayed up. Because when
Exactly.
you have a structured schedule laid out, you can't miss those things. The impulsiveness, the natural consequences come naturally, right?
Right.
And so it's like, well, that was dumb. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have done that because I can't sleep through work because I know if I sleep through work, I'll get fired.
right.
And if I get fired, I won't have any money. And if I don't have any, you know what I mean? And
exactly.
that's what's playing the tape through. But if you have structure and discipline, it's a lot easier.
There are consequences to everything. It's kind of funny because I'll talk to sponsees or clients that come through this program. about, just offering advice about what I would do, right? Like, well, if I was in your situation, I'd do this, or I think that you should do this. And then a lot of the times the response is like, so you're telling me I have to come here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then I have to go to meetings on the off days. And I'm like, look, you don't have to do anything.
Yes.
Like, right? I'm just like saying, like, but for every action you take or don't take, there are going to be consequences.
Right.
And that's like, they might not be immediate, but it's like, how free do you want to be? Like,
exactly.
I'm not saying that my word is the end all be all. I have a lot of learning to do. But there are consequences to it. And it's like, at the end of the day, how free do you want to be in your head?
I love that.
Like, you'll have to go and learn the lesson.
I love that.
I just want to say, if you're getting like something out of this, hit the like button. I appreciate everyone that's joining in on the conversation. Everyone from Morgan to Merck, Lori.
Oh, Morgan in
Petey.
the house.
Yeah, look at all these people that are joining in.
That's so awesome.
I know. I always get distracted, so I forget to look up there. So I see some people have asked questions.
Oh, I'll ramble on, dude.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I'm like, what was I talking about again?
Right.
But yeah, this is so cool. This is just a neat experience to be here. I mean, the recovery community nowadays, I feel so blessed.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? With what we have, there's places in Salt Lake, but there's places local. There's SOAR. I think of Fit to Recover.
Oh, FTR is awesome.
I think of I like that stuff because I like the sweat and stuff. And I think of Recovery Strong and places like the Red Barn, and just so many opportunities where, even if you don't have any money, there's help out there.
Yeah.
There's help out there.
There's resources available everywhere.
Yep.
That's part of what LT does with Recovering Addict. I mean, it's basically like this online resource. So you can, just get on your phone and like immediately be connected to all these people. Yeah. And look at all these people that are plugging in here, that's just cool. Like through this podcast and this live video that we're doing. It's awesome, seeing everyone's feedback and, just getting into this.
Yeah. And
it's cool living in 2020, right?
It is. Yeah, exactly.
There's like a lot of negative things that have to do with, like maybe social media pulling you in or this or that, or, people getting addicted to their phones or video games and all that. But at the same time, there's so much good to it. And it's like cool, like that you're just immediately accessible to this worldwide community, right?
Yep,
exactly. People that are like-minded and trying to better themselves. So
yeah, and that's interesting. even with the
I saw
pandemic.
The women's one up in Ogden. I know that there's like the women's
shout out.
Women's Recovery House. I think that's what it's called. It's like the sister to Valley Camp.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that place too. Yeah. I know it's up by the old church up by St. Joe's. It's like 24th and
exactly.
Pierce or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've heard people that go through that good success stories.
Women's retreat. That's what
women's
it's called.
retreat.
Women's retreat. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just so much out there, you know what I mean? And I feel blessed to be able to sit here and talk to you guys and just to be a part of this community. I mean, because I just feel so good and I'm so happy today. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got to go pick up my daughter.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Get to go spend the day with her and just being a dad and having the tools to deal with that. You know what I mean? Because it's scary. But I mean, today I can do it. I know I can do it because I've been through so much and I've been down those dark roads to see the light.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like once you get this far along and like being able to look at it as a blessing, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when I was like in early recovery or still in my addiction, I'd get pissed at myself and, for putting myself through all this and why does this have to be me and poor me? And even when I first got sober, it was a drag. And like, I'm sure there are times when, you were in the Red Barn thinking like, God, screw my life. Like, why did I sign up for this? Right.
Yeah.
But then it's like you get to this point somewhere along the way where you have gratitude for it all and for the experience it taught you and for like how it allowed you to change your life.
So you don't want to leave.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I totally know what you're saying.
And there's a price that can't be put on like those experiences.
Yes.
And that, like, I don't know, life knowledge that, all this stuff teaches you. Right.
Yeah, I just, I feel so blessed to have gone. It sounds crazy, right? To have gone through what I've gone through. Like I wouldn't waste that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now I can sit here today and talk to you and talk to all these, beautiful people and tell them that it's worth it. You know what I mean? Look, my mom's listening. I just saw that one.
Oh, nice.
Shout out. Yeah, it's another big supporter. I mean, I wouldn't be here without her. I can't can't take credit for all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to thank my higher power
For sure.
and people like Dustin
Yeah.
and people like Michael Hawes
Oh,
and
for
and
sure.
just these rock stars, bro. They're rock stars.
Yeah.
They're a blessing, you know.
That's what like the community is all about. And just this like, simple idea of like where I can't, we can,
Yeah.
right?
The we statements are strong,
Yeah.
dude. When you start saying those we statements, that's powerful
Yeah.
because you're not talking about yourself anymore. You're talking about something way bigger than yourself.
When we end our groups, we usually do prayer, and like a big one that we do is the serenity prayer. We always do like the we version of it. So it's
Yeah.
like, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it's like, the same prayer, but there's something subtle about that, collective we and us thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
they,
what my motto is.
Yeah.
let's see.
We recover better together.
Oh, yeah.
We recover.
There's a
better
mission
together,
statement right there. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't do this alone. We can't. I mean, as addicts, we're so used to being selfish, right?
Yeah, right.
And trying to just do it all on our own. But you can't, man. And luckily, I've been blessed with good family and good support systems. But even if you're not, it's out there, like we were just
Right.
talking about, and you just got to find it and you got to search for it, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be a struggle, but we can do this.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's a lot of the Red Barn too, is those we statements. And they don't want to hear we don't want to hear I did this and I did that, because I mean, even if you're the one going to work, there's somebody that's packing your lunch. There's somebody that's staying back at the barn that's mowing the lawn. There's
Yeah.
somebody that, you know what I mean? We all have to do our part to contribute. And then that's powerful because it's not you anymore. There's other people that are relying on you, and it's you got to stay as a team. You know what I mean? As a community, we're all in this together. That's my favorite part about being sober is,
Yeah.
having this brotherhood of,
Because this is like a second family to me, like sort, right? Because I didn't, move to Utah with any family members, any siblings or
That's
uncles
right.
or aunts or parents or anything out here.
that's
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like my daughter's going to be like, the first actual family member of mine
Yeah.
here. But SOAR is that for me, right? And like this whole recovery community. And it's cool because all my best friends today are, recovering addicts and alcoholics.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah. Those are just the people I choose to surround myself with.
Right.
Yeah. The people that are going to hold me accountable, and that I can hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I stay so close to the Red Barn too, is I know those guys will hold me accountable 100%.
Yeah.
If there's something I can't do on my own, I know I could reach out to a brother.
Oh, for
You know,
sure.
It's a brotherhood, dude. It's a deep bond. And I mean, that's just what happens when a bunch of, guys get sober together.
Yeah.
Right. Is you just develop this bond because it's like this relatable aspect of like, man, I've been there. And a lot of people can't say that. You can go to these therapy classes and they can't relate to it like another addict can.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you tell me something like, no, push it a little harder or do this, and then I have to trust you. You know what I mean? Because you've been through what I've been through. And so I don't know. That's me just rambling on,
But no, I get it. I see Morgan. Well, first she asked if has the fear of being close with other addicts, and I don't really fear that at all. I mean, like I just said, like all my best friends are recovering addicts, but it is like a hard lifestyle, and there is like I don't know, sadness to it because like a lot of people don't make it. There's like deaths and people that just can't get it together, and that's the flip side of the coin. But the other side of the coin is so beautiful too, and just being grateful. And like I honestly think we're all walking miracles, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was reading this thing that was like
That's
5% of people that start using IV heroin end up getting sober, right? The rest of
Yeah.
them will, end up in jails, institutions, death, right?
Right.
And it's just cool that, like you're here, I'm here. There's so many of my good friends are recovering addicts and like, heroin especially. And it's like we get to be part of that, small percentage. But it's like
Yeah.
that. When I first heard that, I was in like a detox or a treatment center. And instead of using it to like hold me down. I was like, that's kind of inspiring. Like, why can't I be that 5%? Like,
Yeah,
why can't I
exactly.
put myself in a position to succeed like that? Right.
Yeah, you've made it this far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I heard you talking a lot about that. I think it was on a previous podcast, but just kind of about your story and
Yeah.
you know, your struggles. But
No, for sure. It's been a long road. Like Morgan was saying, I did move to Utah to go through Brighton Recovery Center there in South Ogden, and I didn't stay sober.
yeah,
I mean, I got out like a month after I got out, or a little less. I was like living in my truck in Salt Lake,
Mhm.
and I spent the next year of my life homeless in Salt Lake, just using. I almost lost my foot. Went through so many, I don't know, just ugly scenarios down
Yeah.
there. And just living life as a junkie, right? There's a picture of me from that time.
yeah, I seen that picture.
Yeah,
I seen that picture. I was like, holy shit, that doesn't
There's
look
my
anything
foot
like
that
you.
almost got amputated. I'm sorry,
That
viewers.
doesn't-
There was
you guys
no
don't wanna
warning
s-
for that.
Ooh.
That was after
Oh.
5 surgeries.
Oh,
that was
that
after the first surgery. But I
Oh,
had
that's
5 surgeries on my foot because of that infection due to my IV use. Anyways, I was living no semblance of a life that you could call normal. Like, I was a junkie. Everyone knew it, right? So for the next year after I got out of Brighton, that's what it was like. It was no fault of Brighton or the treatment centers, right? They're an awesome program. We send people there all the time. It was me. I wasn't ready. I wasn't willing
Yeah.
or ready yet. But then after that year, I went into detox, and a mutual friend, Don, who we had on last week and the week before, right? Or maybe 2 weeks before that. He introduced me to Dustin, and ever since I met Hawk and went through this program, I've been sober, and now I freaking help run it, and it's just
Yeah.
a blessing. It's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man. That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. Oh man, I don't know. It's just a blessing.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's cool.
You know what I mean? It is
It's
cool.
cool watching you like smile through this too, because I can
Yeah.
tell it's like genuine and you feel
Oh,
it. And,
dude, I'm so stoked to be here right now. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea. Like, I love this.
that's awesome.
This
dude.
is so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could just do this all the time. You know what I mean? This is so cool. And I'll have to come check out. I see you guys got the weights and all that down
Yeah.
there.
No,
I want
absolutely.
to come check that out. Yeah. And,
definitely.
and
I'll let you know like a time you can come in. Like, I mean, you can even like participate in our program for a night or something. And
yeah.
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 And
That'd
you
be
could like join
super-
the community too. I mean, like a bunch of our members, I mean, most of them I'd say are
Right.
recovering addicts or alumni of our programs.
Right. Isn't that crazy to think too? Like,
Yeah.
how we met, you're with my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Right, exactly.
Whatever, however it is, we're both
Yeah.
the uncles, right? We're both the
Yeah.
cool uncles. But just how it all works out like that.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? Like, I can't feel like I'm like that's me. I know that's not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when people come to your life in this certain time and it's just like I'm not super religious, but I feel like I'm spiritual.
Oh, for sure.
And that sounds so corny, right?
No,
That's like a girl, like I'm not really religious, but I'm spiritual. Like
Yeah.
I got these rocks, and like
I feel the same way though. That's totally
those are
me.
jokes,
Yeah.
you know?
You want to plug Soar, and I'll show that little video real quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which video is this?
That workout one I did.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is a cool video that LT kind of created for us recently.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
and these are all people that are going through recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's one of our good buddies, Antonio. He's one of the first people that went through with Dustin.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's a glimpse of our group right there.
A couple soldiers.
Exactly.
These are some recovery warriors right here, bro.
Oh, for sure.
I love it.
That's our buddy's son right there.
Where's this at?
That was at the park it's in South Ogden. I forget what park it's called.
Oh, okay.
By that elementary school. we did an outdoor group like team workout there where we teamed up and then we like split the reps and stuff together.
Oh man, see, that's what I need. I need those kettlebells in my life.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I need a better relationship with those kettlebells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's got Chris dying right there.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you what. You think you're doing tough until you do something like this. And it's like I have nothing to worry about now. I mean, how can you get done with the workout like this and feel any sort of bad about anything?
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? Look at Hawk.
We talk about that all the time. Now it's like it might be uncomfortable and you have to like push yourself through, but at the end you're so glad you did it.
Yes.
There's a smile on your face and you're laughing.
Yeah, exactly. So how long is? Because I knew that there was War, but how new is Soar?
So it's the same thing. We just changed the name from War to Soar at the beginning of this year. I think it was around January or February. And then we were located mainly in South Ogden, and then running out of the garage gym. And then we just moved to this building we're at today in May.
This is nice.
This actually used to be an alcohol distillery.
Oh, really? This was
Ogden's
the
own distillery where they
Yeah.
make like Five Wives vodka
Five
and
Wives.
stuff. Yeah.
That's right. This is
Yeah.
that place.
It's a trip.
Okay.
So it's funny because a lot of
Yeah.
the people that walk in here are like, oh, I used to come here to pick up vodka.
Well, come in here and hit some weights. Now let's
Exactly.
talk some recovery.
Exactly.
I was leaving here yesterday and pulled out, and there was people at the front door like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, cool. People want recovery." They're like, "Hey, we need some vodka."
Yeah.
I was like, so I told them, I was like, "If you ever need help, just let us know."
Exactly, right?
Yeah, wrong place for that.
Yeah.
None of that going on here.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's super neat, dude. This is so cool.
Oh, it's definitely cool. I'll show you around more, and yeah, like just pick a time to come by
Yeah.
next week. I'll get at you.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. It's just it's like probably just what I needed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's what's cool about just doing the next right thing and being in recovery is like things like this just happen. Good things
Right.
seem to happen, and I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not going to
totally
be the one
believe
to
that too.
explain it.
Yeah, just like the coincidence, and like you were saying,
How
today,
weird.
that LT was saying that like in our group that what are the chances that for however many millions of generations before us and generations that are coming after us, like I think there were 9 of us, like us 9 people are sitting here on this mountain, and that's like there's a reason, right? And like
Yeah.
the fact that we get to know each other and get to have this experience, and I think that's cool, right? And it's all
Yeah.
about your perspective and the way you choose to look at things, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's a
so- and
beautiful thing.
Some of those people, if not, a lot of them will be life brother. You know what I mean? Brothers, or are there girls that is
Yeah.
it? Okay. I just say brothers because it's all dudes at the Red Barn.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just used to the brotherhood, but I mean, it's the sisters too. Yeah,
Exactly.
represent.
Yeah,
you
we're
know what
all
I mean?
inclusive. Yeah, we got a badass chick in here right now. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Girl power.
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
right, dude.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And it's like, I mean, if you're down to push yourself and do, you know what I mean, and to work hard, it's like, why not? You know what I mean? Why not come to a place like this?
No, exactly. I mean, we just have like a little bit of a different philosophy than like a lot of treatment centers, and it's like everything has their time and place, and but what we just try to get people to change their lives and live them based on a foundation of health, right? Find
Yeah.
your reward systems. It's like whatever your problem is, like there's a solution, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
worked for us, like you were saying. Like we have trust in our peers and the other people that have gone through it. I mean, we're a program that's like run for addicts, like created by addicts, and like all of us here have gone through it. And
Right.
that life experience is the greatest tool and asset we have today to be able to help other people along the same path, and that's cool.
And there's something about that too. There's something about the nonprofit, just the genuine, you know what I mean?
Right.
Of we're just here to try and help people.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? We're not making bank,
Yeah.
we're just here to try and help people. And it feels good for us.
Yeah.
And if I can offer you that same thing, then you can, do that for somebody else. That's going to feel good for you.
For sure.
And, we just need more of that.
Most people that come to this program, like if they can't pay for it, like we're gonna find a way to make it work. Like the
Yeah.
only thing that would stop you is you not being willing, or you not being willing to commit or show up or whatever. But for people that want it, that you can tell they're all for it, like, you know, we're gonna find a way to make it work and get them in no matter what. So
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool.
That can be tough because I mean, how do you? Because I always wanted to get sober.
yeah,
I never didn't want to get sober. You know what I mean? And even when I would relapse or do something stupid, you know, like take somebody's car that I shouldn't have.
right.
Yeah, he let me borrow it, but still, it's
I had
like,
countless experiences like that.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it's like, oh, I don't remember what I was saying.
You said you always wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. And so when they would ask me, I would I wouldn't know why I did that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, so how do you know? It's tough.
I think there's like a difference between like wanting it and then being willing to do what it takes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's some people that, you know, will come in and say, I want to get sober, but then, you know, you give them a list of, you know, suggestions or things to do, and then they won't do it. And, oh, well, something came up and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you don't really want it. Like, you want it, but you're not willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, like, you know, recovery's hard and relapses happen. And there's some people that like are constantly showing up, doing all the right things, like reaching out, like never missing. They're here early, but then like, you know, they might relapse, and it's like, well, this person like just hasn't got it yet, but they're like, you know, I'm going to put my neck out for them because like I can see that they're trying, as opposed to this other person who says they want it, but you don't see any like groundwork put in, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the footwork.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're so close, and you can see that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Like some people, like you're right on the edge, and there's just one thing that you're missing or that you don't have plugged in that, you know, isn't working for you. Because it's different for everyone, right? We're all
Yeah.
different. We all have different things that work for us. Like I'm a huge believer in AA. I sponsor people in it, and that's like, you know, not like your thing, and that's freaking awesome. And we all do different things and like different things that work for us. And so I'm doing all these things. You know, I wake up, I make my bed, I pray, I meditate.
Yeah.
You know, I read, I sponsor people out of the book, I go to my home group, I do SOAR, and it's like, I don't know what's keeping me sober, but I'm going to keep doing all of it just in
Yep.
case, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can never
Yeah.
have too many good things going on. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on. This has been like a
Yeah.
fun conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool to meet you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely.
That's crazy that this is where we meet and we
Because
get
I
to
heard
share our
about you a
stories.
couple months ago. Like one of the, I don't know, maybe it was this spring. I was talking to the Alex and telling her about my store, and she like mentioned you, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but I didn't really think too much about it. And then she
Yeah.
brought you up like recently, and we're like, well, let's get them on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I
cool.
know, right? Yeah, I got a crazy story, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good from considering where I went through, you know
oh,
what I mean,
exactly.
to where I am now. I'm just grateful that I can come here and share that, and that I don't have to feel bad about it. You know what I mean? I don't have to
Right.
feel bad about who I was, because, you know, that I've changed. You know what I mean? I firmly believe that people can change. You know what I mean? And you can change anything you want. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's addiction, or, you know, addiction to drugs or alcohol or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I firmly believe that we can all do better.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
You
that's
can change.
cool. I think you definitely inspired some people.
I hope so,
yeah.
man. I mean, I know I'm nothing special, dude. I just know what it's like.
Well, just being
know what it's
genuine
like.
and talking about this stuff. I mean, that helps me. It's cool because this conversation helps us, but it's like obviously other people are engaged too, and that's like, I don't know. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, and I'm down to help more people. You know what I mean? Because that feels good to me. So
No, definitely.
so if I can help anybody out, you know, I'm down for that.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. This has
Thanks
been
again,
great.
man. We really
Yeah.
appreciate your time. And yeah, you can check us out. If you're already watching, you're obviously already watching, but schoolofaddiction.org is our website. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and then this podcast will be out on Monday on all these different platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. It should be there. LT, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I want to jump in here on
Go
the show,
for it.
Morgan. Hey, Morgan, thank you so much for that super chat. We are doing a raffle on Recovering Addict, and you have just bought yourself one ticket. And if you want to, you can put it in Team Felice, which is this coffee. You get a French press, you get coffee cups and a Bluetooth speaker. So hashtag Team Felice if you want your ticket to go in there. Hashtag Team Millie is a comfy, cozy little thing in a blanket and a pillow in this cool basket. Hashtag Team Link is this Star Wars with the R2D2 cup, 2-in-1 device phone charger. This is Team Family. My niece sponsored this basket and sent it to us to give away. And this is Team LT. Hashtag Team LT. You get this cool keychain holder that says "We recover better together." You get a 12-step workbook. Okay, fine. I'm grateful. It's going to help you write down some things about being grateful. Bluetooth speaker, a light, and some pens and pencils. So whatever hashtag you drop, I will make sure your ticket goes into one of those baskets. And thank you again.
Awesome. Love it. I appreciate what you're doing, LT, and getting everyone involved. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you to all the listeners. Thank you again, Blake.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you guys next week.